The lights flash. Cameras roll. A mountain of muscle steps into frame. His smile, perfect. His presence, undeniable. To millions, he is the symbol of power, resilience, and success. Yet behind the laughter, the movie deals, and the motivational quotes, there lies a secret. A question whispered across locker rooms, podcasts, and gym floors. How does a man in his 50s grow larger, stronger, and leaner with every passing year? The answer is not simple, because this story is not just about muscles. It is about illusion. It is about the cost of perfection, and how even the strongest man alive might be hiding the one weakness he cannot admit. He started as a dream, a man who came from nothing, whose name became bigger than life itself. From the bright lights of wrestling arenas to the billion-dollar sets of Hollywood, Dwayne Johnson became an unstoppable force. His rise seemed to have no limit. Every speech, every workout video, every motivational post turned him into something more than human, a symbol of hard work, discipline, and relentless pursuit. But as the world watched him grow stronger, something strange began to happen. His size defied logic. His muscles grew denser, sharper, almost sculpted by something beyond nature. Fans looked at old pictures of a young football player, lean and athletic, a man clearly gifted by genetics. But then came the transformation. Shoulders wider than ever, arms swollen like steel, veins crawling under skin like electric wires. His jawline sharpened, his waist shrunk, and his body looked more like a statue than a man. For years, the illusion worked. He became the face of natural discipline, the man who outworked everyone. But slowly, doubt began to creep in. The internet began comparing timelines, noticing how his physique didn't follow the pattern of aging. It reversed it. The mystery grew louder. Was he truly natural? Or had the legend been built on something far less honest? Long before Hollywood, long before fame, Dwayne's destiny seemed carved in muscle. His father, Rocky Johnson, was a professional wrestler known for his size and athletic grace. His grandfather, Peter Maivia, carried the same aura of power, a man built for the ring. The Rock often spoke proudly of his Samoan lineage, the bloodline of warriors. And it was true. He was born to be strong. In his early years, the signs of that heritage were clear. Photos of him at just 15 showed a body most men would envy in their 30s. He was built for greatness, but not yet the impossibility he would later become. Coaches described him as powerful, disciplined, hungry. Yet even then, whispers followed him. How could someone so young look that developed? Still, he silenced the doubters with performance. Football scholarships, championships, wrestling dominance, it all seemed to validate his story. But nature has limits. Genetics can only carry a man so far. When he left sports and began his Hollywood ascent, the world expected him to shrink, to age, to soften. Instead, the opposite happened. His body defied time, growing harder, fuller, and more extreme with every movie role. Scientists, trainers, and even fellow actors began to quietly question whether heritage alone could create such transformation. And while the legend said it was all hard work, the truth began to shimmer just beneath the surface. When Dwayne first stepped into Hollywood, the industry did not know what to do with him. He was enormous, too large for the family comedies he wanted to star in. Executives advised him to lose weight, to look more approachable. And so he did. Films like The Game Plan showed a leaner, more natural physique. Gone was the wrestling bulk. In its place stood a softer, friendlier hero who smiled more than he flexed. For a moment, it worked. He was charming, marketable, and relatable. But something inside him began to change. The Hollywood version of himself was smaller, but the man behind it missed the power he once had. As he took on more serious roles, the pressure to look larger than life returned. He began to train harder, eat more, and push his body to its limit. But this time, something was different. The results were no longer natural. His size didn't just come back, it exploded. By the time he appeared in Fast 5, his arms were as thick as tree trunks, and his traps looked carved from granite. The transformation was so dramatic that even longtime fans were stunned. People wondered, how could he shrink for Hollywood, then come back bigger than ever in his 40s? Every role demanded more from his body, and somehow, he always delivered. But behind the scenes, something else had begun, a cycle of image maintenance that no human could sustain without help. Then came the movie that changed everything. Pain and Gain, the film that turned The Rock from a movie star into a physical phenomenon. At 41 years old, he appeared on screen more muscular, lean, and vascular than ever before. Even next to professional bodybuilders, he looked unreal. His physique became a global topic overnight. Articles praised his work ethic. Interviews repeated the same question: how did he do it? And his answer was always the same: diet, training, discipline, no shortcuts. But experts disagreed. Trainers, athletes, and medical professionals began analyzing every frame of the movie. They noticed the paper-thin skin, the unnatural fullness of his muscles, the perfect dryness that bodybuilders achieve only for competition, and often with chemical assistance. Rumors of testosterone, growth hormone, and peptides spread rapidly. Yet Hollywood protected its golden hero. The magazines published features about The Rock's 4 a.m. workouts and 12 meals a day. The myth deepened. Still, something in the public consciousness shifted. People began to sense the lie. Because Pain and Gain wasn't just a movie, it was a message. It said that even in your 40s, you could look superhuman if you worked hard enough. And millions believed it. They didn't see the price. They didn't see the toll. They only saw perfection. And that perfection was the poison that would later turn against him. Be why now. Dwayne Johnson was no longer just a man. He was a brand. The muscles weren't just for the movies. They were the product. Every supplement, every fitness commercial, every energy drink, every motivational post. All of it fed into one image: the unstoppable worker. The hardest worker in the room. That was his mantra. But the bigger the brand became, the smaller the man behind it seemed to grow. There was no room for weakness, no space for age, no moment to breathe. He had to look superhuman at all times, because superhuman was what the world paid to see. The Rock couldn't just be fit. He had to be impossible. And so, his routine became mythic. Early mornings, no rest days, meals every few hours, endless sets, endless effort. The internet worshipped him for it. But hidden behind the steel and smiles was a truth no one dared to speak. To maintain a body like that at his age required more than work. It required science. The pressure to maintain the illusion became relentless. His muscles became both his weapon and his prison. Every movie demanded more. Every fan expected perfection, and every critic watched for cracks. And somewhere, between the image and the man, the truth began to fade into shadow. The story of strength is only half told. What comes next reveals what truly hides behind the Iron Paradise: the whispers, the controversy, and the fall that Hollywood tried to bury. Every myth needs its ritual, and his was food. Endless, towering plates of codfish, rice, eggs, and steak. Photos of pancakes dripping with syrup became viral trophies of his discipline. 7 meals a day, the headlines said. 1,000 grams of protein. To the public, it sounded like dedication beyond measure. Fans copied his diet plans, believing that if they ate like him, they could become like him. But when nutritionists studied the numbers, things stopped making sense. The portions didn't match the calories he claimed to eat. The timing didn't align with human digestion. Something about it felt staged, as though the meals were props for a story. Fitness professionals began whispering that this was not a diet, it was marketing. A fantasy designed to make ordinary people believe that superhuman results come from ordinary effort. His body became an advertisement. His meals, a symbol of his willpower. But behind closed doors, the truth was more complicated. A diet that extreme could not be sustained without help. Not from motivation, but from chemistry. And so, the illusion of clean eating and hard work became one of Hollywood's most powerful lies. What the audience saw was breakfast. What they didn't see was science. Before sunrise, the lights flickered on in the Iron Paradise. The clang of steel echoed through the air. Sweat poured, veins bulged, and muscles swelled as if carved by a sculptor's hand. Every video showed the same story. Relentless intensity, no excuses, no days off. He was not training like an actor. He was training like a competitive bodybuilder at his peak. But science knows limits. At his age, muscle recovery slows, testosterone declines, and joints begin to ache. Yet somehow, his strength only seemed to increase. Experts watched in disbelief as he lifted weights that even elite athletes would hesitate to touch. There were no signs of fatigue, no visible decline, no off-season softness. Every day, the body looked competition-ready. This was not just discipline, it was defiance of biology. People began comparing him to comic book heroes, because no human in his 50s could look like that without intervention. Yet the brand demanded the illusion of immortality. To admit fatigue, or chemistry, or weakness would destroy the empire. So the videos continued. The smile stayed wide, the muscles stayed perfect, and the world believed. Because it needed to. As whispers grew, one question began to echo louder than ever. Could he truly be natural? On podcasts, in interviews, on gym forums, his name became a debate. Joe Rogan spoke about it publicly, calling out the impossible nature of his physique. Journalists dug up an old interview from 2009, where he admitted to experimenting with steroids as a teenager. But that admission only raised more suspicion. If he had tried them before, could he ever turn to them later? Still, there was silence. Hollywood studios could not afford scandal. The Rock's clean image was worth millions. His family-friendly movies, his inspirational speeches, his global brand, they all depended on the illusion of purity. Any confirmation of enhancement would shatter it all. And so, the topic became forbidden. The irony was cruel. The same industry that demanded physical perfection punished those who achieved it through unnatural means. The Rock was trapped between two impossible expectations: to be superhuman, but to stay human. And so, he did what Hollywood taught best. He smiled, he said nothing, and he kept lifting. Hardest worker in the room. Those 5 words became his empire. They were printed on shirts, carved into gym walls, tattooed into the minds of his followers. But behind the mantra was a man chained to his own legend. There was no room for failure, no space for fatigue. He could not shrink, could not slow down, could not show age. Because the moment he did, the illusion would crumble. Friends began to notice how he never took long breaks. Even injuries were hidden, masked by motivation. He had become a prisoner of his own image, a man chasing a perfection that no longer belonged to him. The Rock that fans saw online was a performance, a character born from the need to stay untouchable. The muscles that once empowered him now demanded constant maintenance. Each pound of muscle was a reminder of the pressure. And though he never said it, the toll was visible in the silence between smiles. The cost of being a symbol of strength was never being allowed to be weak. Every post, every interview, every flex carried the same message: I am still the mountain. But behind that mountain was a man, and that man was exhausted. In the end, the story was never just about one man. It was about a culture obsessed with perfection, about an industry that rewards illusion and punishes honesty. The Rock's transformation became the mirror for society's obsession with strength without struggle, size without sacrifice, power without pain. Millions of fans watched him and believed that hard work could conquer biology. But for many young men, that belief became dangerous. They chased the impossible. They used the same shortcuts they were told not to. And some never came back. Dwayne Johnson once said he wanted to inspire the world to be its best self. Maybe he did, but somewhere along the way, the line between truth and myth blurred. Today, he still stands as a symbol of success, the face of relentless ambition. Yet behind the tattoos, the smile, and the legend, there remains a question unanswered. Was it all discipline, or was it design? The camera still rolls. The fans still cheer. The illusion continues. But the truth, like a shadow, never leaves. Because even the mightiest giants cast one. He stands atop the world, muscles glistening under the spotlight, a hero to millions. Yet beneath the glow lies the one truth no one wants to face: that perfection is never real, and that even the strongest man alive is still only human. The Rock story is not one of downfall, but of captivity, the prison of image, the curse of never being allowed to fade. And maybe, in the end, the greatest strength is not in hiding the truth, but in finally letting it be seen.